Christoph, let me ask you, why do you think that Truman has never come close to discovering the true nature of his world until now?
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
Welcome back to the HCC Student YouTube channel. My name is Elijah Demas, and my team and I have got the real stories and the real facts all about media manipulation. News has been around since 59 BC in the form of carvings in rocks that were displayed around in public spaces. Nowadays, news takes many different forms. Don't lie, we all have social media. Every single one of us has fallen into the trap of doom scrolling late at night. Between that and news channels constantly feeding us information, you'd think this would be good, right? But because of how widespread and easy to gather information is in the Big 25, means that there's a lot of misinformed information out there that is actually twisted to make you believe what they want you to hear. This idea of media controlling what we know and where all the information is coming from is actually tackled head on in the film The Truman Show, where a man, Truman, is constantly being recorded in a controlled environment and where he's the star to his own show without even realizing that. One quote from the film states, "We accept the reality which we are presented." This can be applicable in our own lives and how we are just fed information from the media and blindly trust what it says. Because of this, news channels and outlets can twist the facts and give us fake news to suit them. They can do this by advertising the products that benefit their story, censor out the facts that they don't want us to see, and how they can manipulate and play with our emotions. All this makes us unaware of whether the facts we're receiving are real or fake. We need to be aware of companies' tricks and investigate where this information is actually coming from.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
The media can use ads to glorify products and give fake story behind items to control you. In the Truman Show, we see the example of product placement used throughout the film. The most notorious moment in the film where this happened is when Truman starts to realize that his whole life might be scripted. He tries talking to his wife about it, but the wife kept on pushing him away, mentioning all the sponsorships that the show has received. Truman was obviously confused by this and was saying stuff like, "Who are you talking to?" This shows the directors of his world trying to stop Truman from uncovering the truth of his reality. Even in real life, ads try to show a false promise of something to control the narrative to give you the incentive to purchase something. There are things that we obviously know aren't good for us, like junk food, drinking, sitting around playing video games, yet somehow ads convince us that these things actually are good. Let's use gambling ads as an example. They make it look exciting and entertaining, even though we know it isn't. A study from Wrexham University investigated into the negative effects of advertisements. They found out that advertisements can manipulate a person's attitude or morals to be adjusted to whatever the product is asking for. This shows how companies' ads can twist our very own beliefs for a product to their liking. How can we be manipulated into wanting or doing something that we know isn't good for us? This isn't right. How we just want a product without actually thinking. We should be able to take a step back and think about what it is we are doing before buying it or acting on it. We need to be able to know what it is that we are buying and that we aren't just buying some glorified product that's put there by big companies. Corporations use censorship to hold back information and to control the narrative to fit their need. This leads to us being told fake news that we end up believing. In The Truman Show, one of the most famous quotes is, "We accept the reality which we are presented with." I think that this quote perfectly sums up the idea of censorship. Towards the start of the film, there's a moment where the protagonist is brought together with his long-lost father. He is then held back by all the extras and stopped from uncovering the truth about his dead father. This attempt to try and censor out the truth led to the rest of the film's events, but shows us a good example of what it looks like when the higher-ups tried to hold back information. Our very own news companies aren't so innocent about this either. They often tell half the story or tell one-sided facts for their own personal gain. A modern example of this is news channels over in America being biased to a particular political party. They tend to influence the people to sway a certain way by talking positively about one. Fox News is known for favoring the Republicans and bashing the Democrats. A study from Pew Research Center found that 93% of Fox viewers admitted to voting for the Republicans. This shows that news channels can influence people by showing information that they want us to see and censoring out what they don't want us to see. This then leads to us being led a certain way because big companies are holding back information from us. This means that as consumers, we need to make sure that we aren't getting all our information from one place where we could be getting told fake news, but actually getting our news from different sources. How do we get attached to something? Is it not with our emotions? One of the most common strategies that news companies will use to try and spread false information online is by using fear tactics and by twisting our emotions to feel a certain way. In The Truman Show, when Truman is having an existential crisis, he is talking to his best friend who he trusts the most. His friend is then told by the director to lie and make Truman believe that he is crazy. He uses Truman's emotions and trust towards him to convince him that he's crazy. And this goes back to the quote of, "We accept the reality of which we are presented with." By using Truman's emotion and trust with his best friend, he ends up accepting his reality and coming this close to knowing the truth. Some pharmaceutical companies paint pictures of their products to appeal to people's emotions. Companies will sometimes show sick and dying people to try and spread fear of what could potentially happen to you. And then they'll show a solution, being their drug, with all happy faces. How is this okay though? Being able to make someone feel a certain way should not be a marketing strategy. This use of fear tactic isn't just seen in medicine companies. It's seen in typical everyday news. Constant stories on terrorism and exaggeration on events happening right now can lead to mass panic and keep everyone controlled. This fear tactic abuses our view of the world and corrupts us into only looking at the negatives when there is so much good happening in the world today. We need to stand up to these companies and not fall for their tricks any longer. So, in a reality where all these big corporations are twisting our idea of what is happening in this world, we have just found out how easy it is to get caught in these companies' traps. They are constantly feeding us fake news by advertising certain products, holding back certain information and censoring out the facts, and finally, by manipulating our emotions and using fear tactics to make us believe their stories. We don't want to just accept the reality that these media corporations are handing us. We want the truth. We need to wake up to the fake news that they've been showing us by realizing these tactics and also by doing our own research on whether it's real news or fake news.
In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Yeah.